Well, I'm sure you, as many Pennsylvanians, have occasionally been throwing an extra log on the fire. The seasons are changing, and that can mean only one thing. It's time to make contact with the bunker because winter is coming. Paul Knight is in his undisclosed location with all of his long-range forecasting tools. And how are things in the bunker, Paul?
Oh, Fred, in the bunker, it is always balmy as usual. We have the grow lights on, so it looks, it feels good. I get my vitamin D replenished. It's been great.
Well, I guess we're going to have to ask you to reveal all you know about the upcoming winter.
Well, that should only take about 10 seconds. But as we take a look, Fred, well, first of all, the message is that we are in a La Nina. We, of course, had a El Nino just a couple of years ago, a big one, and that one has weakened. It was a weak La Nina last winter. It looks like it's going to be weak to moderate this winter. So we're going to go through a couple of steps here to take a look at what the forecast is going to be by month. So we'll look at temperature-wise, December, and this is a tool that is oftentimes used by the energy industry to see what the past 10 years have been like in Pennsylvania or whatever region we're interested in. Here you'll notice that there are only 2 occasions in the past 10 Decembers that have had below average temperatures compared to the normal from 1981 to 2010. So that would favor another mild December. Of course, last December was close to average. If we take a look at the La Nina, so now we're looking at all the cases going back to 1950 when there have been La Ninas, and look at the Northeast region, not just Pennsylvania, and we've circled the years that were La Ninas, weak or moderate, and notice that many of them are ending up being below average. In fact, 9 of them are near or below average, 5 near or above average. So at this point, we're having a contrary signal because the La Ninas say it should be cool. Of course, many of those that are below are in the period before 1990. If we look at the dynamic models, now this is a specific model that blends the European Center forecast along with the American model and then calibrates it for biases that are in there. And we blocked in Pennsylvania. And there you can see that the signal is one of it being near or slightly above average. So it's kind of a mixed signal, Fred, for December.
Now, whenever we do these, particularly winter seasonal things, it seems we're always referring to El Nino or La Nina. In this case, you're referring and hanging your hat on La Nina. Now, of the 2, does one have a better, is one of more help in determining the upcoming winter?
Yes, Fred. In fact, it's no question that the El Ninos are much more reliable in their signal, much stronger signal, and certainly when it comes to the cold season, December, January, and February in North America, El Ninos have a much more reliable signal to Pennsylvania, too.
So that means we have to keep our fingers crossed because we're using La Nina this time?
Yeah. The reliability is down a bit, but also it also looks fairly similar to last year. So that's why we're looking at persistence, in fact, when we look at the first chart.
How about January?
Well, let's take a look at January, and here's the January persistence. So we're looking at last January, in fact, was quite mild. But notice that when we look at the past 10 years, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 of the 10 have been above average. That's just a persistence pattern. If we look at the La Ninas, and once again, we're looking at the same years we looked at in the other graphic, but now we're circling those, and we find out that the signal is tossed. It's 8 above and 8 below. In fact, of late, more have been slightly above, but earlier years, they were mostly below. And now if we look at the computer simulation, and these are our best models, and they are very good, by the way, there's no signal. So we're looking at no particular signal here. However, we do see cold splayed across southern Canada, and also what looks like a blocking pattern for January in Baffin Island, and that would tend to favor cold. February, once again, we're looking at the past 10 years in Pennsylvania, and the most important thing we're noticing is that of those 10 years, we have 5 of them have actually been well above or well below normal. In fact, 2015 was one of the coldest Februaries of record. If we look at the La Nina message, there we see that there's a bias toward above normal. So we're getting a mixed signal there, 9 above, 7 below. Most importantly, 6 are far from normal. And when we specifically look at the computer simulations, which should be really the way we're going these days, there's a big cold pool being forecast in February across Western Canada and the northwestern U.S., but warm resurges into the east. So let's summarize this in terms of what are the best outlook for temperature. Precipitation is a whole nother beast. Majority of the time it'll be mild in the upcoming winter, and that is December, most likely milder than normal, although a little hesitant because we do have that signal from La Nina that says it could be cold. January is the best chance for colder than normal because we're essentially getting a toss of a coin, and at this time of the year that means it could be cold. February looks most volatile, farthest from normal, but Fred, I'm going to go with with your long shot, which you did a couple weeks ago, and that is that I think February is going to end up being warmer than normal. In fact, maybe one of the warmer ones of recent years.
Now, it's very disappointing that you didn't mention whether there would be a lot of snow or not a lot of snow. Are there any indication?
Well, La Ninas, Fred, typically are drier than normal winters in Pennsylvania, except in the northwest. So up near the lakes, it could be a snowy one. But elsewhere, it appears precipitation should be below average, in which case that would mean snow likewise.
Okay, well, snow lovers, sorry about that. And thank you, Paul, from the bunker. I hope you have snow removal services anyway. And that's it for our seasonal outlook. We'll be back in a moment with more.